yard. But she has an expectation of privacy in the backyard that is fenced, and you're interfering with that. That's what I think. And I don't care what your city manager thinks, and I don't care what the cop that came to your house thinks. She has an expectation of privacy there that you're interfering with, and you should move the camera. And I'm going to award her money until you do. And I'm dismissing your counterclaim. You can come back every month or so, $1,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. Move the camera. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think it's a very good decision. I'm glad that there's closure finally. The assistant prosecutor sent Mark a letter stating for him to move the camera.
I got a very threatening letter from the city prosecutor, yeah.
He don't listen to nobody. That's the type of person he was.
You live next to her.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cleland Hopwood versus Baez. Step forward.
Stephen Cleland and his daughter, 24-year-old Chalice Hopwood, are suing Daniel and Katie Baez for the return of money paid to rent their barn for Chalice's wedding.
Mr. Cleland, this is your daughter.
Yes.
She was getting married.
Yes.
You were looking for a venue for the wedding.
Yes.
Did you get married?
Yes.
Are you happy?
A lot of my guests left after the weather went bad.
I'm not asking you whether you had a good time at the wedding. I'm saying, are you happy? I mean, you got married. Are you happy?
It wasn't my dream, but yes.
I'm not talking about the wedding. Get the venue out of your mind. I'm saying you got married. Are you happy?
Yes.
Well, look happy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You need a permit.
It wasn't a business, Your Honor. They wanted to have an inexpensive wedding, and so we had agreed that we would let them have their wedding there. And at the very end, before her wedding.
That's a business.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephen Cleland and daughter Chalice Hopwood claim Daniel and Katie Baez owe for the return of money they paid to rent the couple's barn for Chalice's wedding reception.
Yeah, so you and your daughter went looking for a wedding venue, and you found a barn that is owned by the defendants. The barn was not set up for a wedding, but according to you, they had assured you that they were doing renovations on the barn, that it would in fact be ready. On what date did you see the barn?
Chalice saw the barn initially.
What date?
November 15th.
And when was the wedding?
June 9th, 2018.
Can you show me a picture of what the barn looked like when you saw it?
We don't have that picture with us.
That would have been helpful. I mean, Mr. Cleland, that's really a very important piece of evidence. What the barn looked like, whether there could have been a reasonable expectation that this barn was going to be at a suitable venue for a wedding. For how many people?
150.
For 150 people. Had you ever used the barn as a venue for a wedding before?
No, Your Honor.
No. Had you ever used the barn as a venue for any function for 150 people?
No, Your Honor.
Did you know you needed a permit to use the barn for a venue for a party?
Well,
Did you know you needed a permit? That's either a yes or a no.
No, Your Honor.
But you do need a permit. Right now, you have a certificate of occupancy for cows in a barn. If you're going to put 150 people in a venue, you need sprinklers, you need proper facilities, you have to have a permit. You know that now, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you didn't have it then. Now, did you ever get a permit for the barn? The answer is either yes or no.
No, Your Honor.
Did you ever get... Okay, so now we're 7 months later, and you still haven't gotten a permit for the barn. Did you apply for a permit for the barn?
Well, we've talked to the county about getting permits, but...
That's not my question. I didn't ask you who you spoke to. I said, did you apply for a permit?
In the future, we will.
We're not using it as a wedding venue.
You were using it as a wedding venue. You took their money.
No.
You took their money.
They asked to have the reception there.
Are you out of your mind? Don't you understand? You have to think before you speak. Your husband just told me that he didn't know that he needed a permit in order to use the facility. Well, but you do need a permit in order to use the facility, and you took their money, and you didn't apply, according to your husband, for a permit in November, December, January, February, March, April, or May, because you still don't have a permit. So you can't hold a function where you don't have a permit. You can't.
We just had bought the property, and so...
First of all, you just bought the property. That is no excuse. The fact that you're recent owners of property is no excuse for taking their money and not having a proper facility.
Well, people hold backyard weddings all the time, so...
This isn't a backyard wedding that somebody is holding in there. If I'm making a wedding for one of my children or grandchildren, I don't need a permit to do it in my backyard. You're doing it as a business. You need a permit.
It wasn't a business, Your Honor. They had contacted us. They wanted to have an inexpensive wedding, and so we had agreed that we would let them have their wedding there. And at the very end, before her wedding...
That's a business. Did you take money from them?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Mr. Baez, did you take money from them? That's either a yes or a no.
We did, Your Honor.
How much money did you take?
She had
How much
we
money?
paid her $13.50.
Is that the total amount that they paid you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see the invitation.
We don't have an invitation with us.
Well, that's part of your complaint.
We have copies of the payments that we made, the $13.50.
He acknowledges that he made $13.50. That's not what you're suing him for. You're suing him for $42.20. You're suing him for the cost of changing invitations, because he had invitations for his address, and then you had to get him for a different address. I want to see the invitation.
I do have the invoice for the invitation.
I'm not interested in the invoice. I want to see the invitation.
I don't have one with us.
And I can't help you. $13.50. And you didn't hold your wedding there.
No.
Held it someplace else. Now, I didn't ask you whether you had a good time at the wedding. I asked you whether you were happily married.
Yes, ma'am.
Look happy. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $13.50. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She complained to the county, and the county came, and it just made it a bigger mess than what it should have been.
The permit was for personal use and not a commercial venue.
They should have just came to us and talked to us first before going to the county if they had issues.
Looking back on it, we'd have changed quite a few things.
Prior to your mother having a stroke, were you and your sister on good terms?
Not so much.
Mom's old car fuels a feud.
Your brother says the car was a gift from your mother to him?
That part's untrue.
And sisters burning up.
Money's not for me. It's for my mother's account. It goes directly into her bank account.
You're talking very fast, and I don't believe you. This whole thing is very distasteful. Your mother would not be happy.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Belinda Tillotson is suing her brother Leo Martinez and his daughter, 25-year-old Crystal, for a car Leo agreed to buy but didn't pay for, and for elder abuse.
Order. All rise. It's case number 354 on the calendar in the matter of Tillotson versus Martinez. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Mr. Martinez, I'm going to start with you for a moment. This is your sister.
Yes, ma'am.
And you took care of your mother for a period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
She began to lose her memory.
She had a stroke.
And after that, was she able to live independently, or was she in a facility?
She went to a facility from the hospital.
Prior to your mother having a stroke, were you and your sister on good terms?
Not so much. We're kind of estranged.
Do you work, Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I do a courier service for a company in Reno.
And this is your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Tillotson, do you work?
Yes.
For whom?
I work for Liberty Tax Services. I'm a tax preparer.
Is the facility where your mother is currently close to where you live?
It's convenient. In town, yes.
Is it close to where you live?
It's about 30 miles out.
Do you visit your mother?
I do as often as possibility. It's been a while.
When was the last time you visited her?
Right before Thanksgiving, my brother passed away.
Were there 3 siblings or more than 3?
There was 4 of us total, 2 brothers and Belinda.
One of them passed away. Is the other still alive?
Yes.
And where does he live?
In Reno.
So you all live relatively close by?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when did you take over as guardian for your mother? And you have the guardianship papers?
Power of attorney wasn't until October.
October of what year?
Oh, sorry, 2018.
And that was well after your brother took possession of the car?
Yes.
So this is what the case is about. Your mother had an old car, a 26-year-old car. And according to you, your brother took the car and he was supposed to pay for it. He didn't pay for it. You want him to pay for it.
Yes.
Your brother says the car was a gift from your mother to him. He had it for a while, and then his daughter's car broke down, so he gave his daughter this 26-year-old car.
True. Not that it was a gift, though. That part's untrue.
He's going to tell me it was a gift from your mother.
I have evidence showing otherwise.
I would like to see what evidence that you have to show me that from the time your mother was in a facility, prior to you have any control over her activities, she didn't give your brother the car. That's what I want to see. Hello, when will it be convenient for me to pick up Mom's Aerostar? I'm going to buy it from her today or tomorrow.
That's the text I received from him the next day after his phone call saying he purchased the vehicle for my mother and coming to pick it up on the 11th.
Is there anything other than this that you have to show me?
Yes, I have the title to the vehicle.
Forget the title. Forget
the power
title,
of attorney.
forget anything else. Forget power of attorney. It's irrelevant to this case.
And showing that my mom wasn't able to sign any documents.
It's irrelevant to this case if your mother gave him the car before you had the power of attorney.
And my son witnessed the phone call saying he purchased it for $1,500.
No, I don't believe that. Okay, now, I want you to tell me what happened. Because, first of all, this whole thing is very distasteful. Your mother would not be happy because you have a 25-year-old car that's worth nothing, really, in the scheme of things. You have 4 siblings. Now you have 3 left. In the scheme of things, a 26-year-old car that maybe is worth $1,000 is causing a dispute in a family where you're going to have a nephew testify against his uncle over this jalopy car. You think that that would please your mother? So what if he has a car? So what if his daughter has a car? So what if your niece has a car? What's the big deal? Do you need a car?
It's
Do you
not
need
for
a car?
me.
No, just a second. Do you need a car?
I have my own vehicle.
You have your own car. So you don't need a car.
Nope. I don't want the car.
So you don't need the car. You don't want the car.
I just want the money to pay my mom's bill.
Just a second. I want to know if you've been paying your mother's bills. And now you're going to have to show that to me, that you personally, out of your accounts, have been paying your mother's bills. If you personally have been paying your mother's bills out of your accounts, I'm going to convince your brother that this car he should sell and give to whatever facility you're paying money to. I want you to show me that you personally are paying any money for your mother. You can't.
It comes out of her Social Security.
You can't. Because you don't pay anything for your mother in the facility.
No, I don't
I'd
pay
like
it.
to speak up on that.
Just a second. I'm not asking you a thing.
And
I didn't ask you anything.
That's understandable.
Don't speak when I'm not talking to you.
All right, Your Honor.
All I'm asking you, Ms. Tillerson, is whether you have any proof that you pay, you personally, not Social Security, not the state, not an insurance policy, not CalAid, not Reno Aid, whatever it is, you personally pay for care for your mother, for a nurse, for medicine. You personally. Because unfortunately, at my age, you know, a lot of people who are in that situation, who have been in that situation, their children don't pay. They pay for them if their parents are living with them. They may pay for a nurse. They may pay for a lot of things that parents are living with them. But if they're living in a nursing facility, they're not paying for them.
May I speak?
All I want you to do is show me proof that you pay for anything that has to do with your mother. Speak. Show me proof.
I don't pay for anything with her. She needed the money before she went to the nursing home, so she wouldn't be behind on her bill. It's for her nursing home bill, and that's it. The money's not for me. The car's not for me. It's just to pay her bill. That's the only reason I'm doing what Mom asked me to do.
What bill?
This bill, Region Care Facility right here.
Just a second. Can I see what she's talking about?
Asking for $1,500. She was asking.
For the month of December. Who paid November if there was a private liability?
Social Security.
The Social Security's going to pay this one, too.
No, they won't. They took out some of her SSI because she was in the facility for 3 months, took that money back out, which made her bill higher. So there's only $280 paid last month because of that. Had she had the money beforehand, she would have had that money beforehand to take care of her bill.
You're talking very fast, and I don't believe you. I don't believe that if she's been in facility for 10 months and her bill has been paid by Social Security and whatever other aid she gets as a result of being there. Did your mother have a house?
No, she lived in housing.
Okay, so she must have been on some sort of assistance.
Yes.
She was.
Yes.
Before?
For some time, yes.
For some time. How much time?
Years.
3 years.
I couldn't tell you exactly how many years, ma'am,
Years.
but it had been some time.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me how it came about that your mother gave you this car.
She got transferred to the facility Region Care. While she was in Region Care at the beginning of that time, she'd asked me if I would take her car to keep it safe. Mom said, absolutely, of course. What do you want me to do with it? Can you take it to your home? Yes. Shortly thereafter, I picked up the car from Belinda, took it to my house, parked it, there it's set. Never drove it again until Crystal's car broke. And at that time, as far as I knew, it was my car, so I let Crystal have it.
Well, no, that's not a gift, actually. If your mother said to you, can you take care of my car? And you said, sure. And you picked up the car and you kept it at your house and you didn't drive it until your daughter needed a car and then you fixed it up and gave it to her. Because at that time, according to you, you said, I thought it was my car.
Yes.
But what you said to me, Mr. Martinez, is not your mother making you a gift. Because if she says, could you take care of it for me, I have to assume that before she had the stroke, she was driving her own car.
Yes, sadly, yes.
Based upon what you tell me, your mother still could have figured in her own mind, you know, maybe I'm going to get better and I'll be able to drive my car. That's what people like to think. So can you take care of my car?
Yes.
And you said sure, and you took it to your house. That's not a gift. So I can't actually find that your mother made a gift to you of the car.
Fair enough.
Now, then we come to a place where the car actually is part of your mother's estate.
She doesn't have an estate, but she has her belongings.
She does have an estate. She has a car that you seem to think is valuable. And if you think that the estate is valuable, you have another sibling. I can't say, you know, it's part of an estate, so I can figure out what the blue book is of the car and figure it 3 ways.
I had that as well, by the way.
You're not paying attention to me. I can't give you half. You have another sibling. And if the car is part of the estate...
Money's not for me. It's for my mother's account. It goes directly into her bank account.
Great! Great. Then I'm leaving you all where you are. When your mother is no longer here, the court will decide whether or not, the probate court will decide, because you're a smartass. That's what you are. Because you're not understanding what I'm saying purposefully. Because if you're a tax accountant and you're a smart lady, you know that being nice, I could say, well, I found that your mother really didn't make a gift to him, and he's really just maintaining the car. That's what I would find as a probate judge if I was saying, well, if I heard the same thing, I would say, you know, I consider that car part of your mother's estate and therefore an asset. Now, if 3 siblings wanted to get together and make a decision to sell that car because your mother really isn't going to use it, then I would need the consent of the 3rd sibling, and Bird would look up the blue book value of a 26-year-old car, and we would divide that by 3, and we would say, now, each of you take 1/3 of the car, and that's what it is, and we'll sell the car. We could do that. But you keep talking about your power of attorney, and that's what I want. I just want the money. You're not going to get the money. Based upon what he told me, his mother did not make a gift of the car to him. So the car belongs to your mother.
It does belong to her, and she asked to get the money, $1,500 or less, and he gave it to her to drive illegally as well. So it's illegally being driven.
Now, if you had your brother's consent, then you would have. If the car is worth $900, and if your other brother said, you know what, let's just resolve this thing, give my sister $600, he'll take $300, because he doesn't have to pay that. And then if that's the only asset that your mother has, which I don't know, I'm not a probate judge.
I understand.
But this is clearly not a gift based upon what your brother tells you. And he was honest with me. He could have just as easily said, my mother said, I want you to have the car. You can have the car. He said, watch it for me. And I did. And I kept it in my house. And I kept it for months. And then I thought it was mine. And I gave it to my daughter when she needed one.
And that's not true, actually. That's not true what he just said, because the text and everything, when he came to pick it up the next day, he came with his girlfriend saying they'd pay the next day. And that's a fact.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
He agreed to take the post down, and he didn't. And then there's a lie saying that I don't even make my own cookies. I order them from another company, and I'm just the middleman. And
is that true?
I don't even make my own cookies.
Just a second. Is that true?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Melinda Tillotson says her brother, Leo Martinez, and his daughter, Crystal, scammed their elderly mother out of a car. The defendants are countersuing for the car's title and tires.
He's not going to give you the money for the car. You're going to have to give your grandmother back the car, because that's what she wants. Then she's not paying you for it. It wasn't a gift, and it wasn't a sale. So you're not going to get the money for it. You following what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I am.
Great. We're done. It's an asset of the estate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Why is that excuse? You may step up.
Because it wasn't a gift. It was actually supposed to be purchased, and he lied.
I know I'm telling the truth. I mean, my mom did actually ask me to hold the car for her.
Just to make sure that mom's not taking advantage of anybody's trying to commit any kind of elder fraud.
I think that she believed I was trying to commit elder abuse, which is completely untrue.
That my mother gets what she needs to pay her nursing home bill, that's all that matters.
She would never want this. She would never want anybody to be fighting over anything.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Samwell versus Lovell. Step forward.
Andre Samwell is suing cookie business owner Katie Lovell for failing to deliver a cookie order, the cost of new cookies, and punitive damages.
Mr. Samwell, you found the defendant online. You were having some sort of Christmas celebration, and you ordered some personalized Christmas cookies with a picture on it. Was it your picture?
It was my picture and my 2 witnesses also here. It was a group photo.
And you found her online on which site?
On Facebook, and then I was able to contact her through Facebook.
And you placed an order and paid for them?
Correct.
You were having a party when?
We're having our annual Christmas party at Park Country Club, and every year we do surprise gifts. This year was my year to choose a surprise gift to give all my guests and friends, and it was going to be the cookies with the faces on them.
And on what date was the party?
The party was going to be on December 23rd.
And on what date did you contact Miss Lovell?
That was November 28th.
Can I see that paperwork?
Sure.
Please?
Here you go, sir.
How much did you pay for the cookies?
For 3 dozen, Your Honor, I paid $110.
Okay. Do you have any other communication with her?
Yes, I do. I have all the text messages.
I'd like to see them.
Sure. Here you go, Your Honor. I sent her a text message on the 21st requesting my cookies.
What was the nature of your illness?
I had a cold.
I want to see the text when you say that you ascribe to him the statement, I need the cookies whenever. That's what you say here. You say, you didn't give me a date when he needed the cookies.
But I thought they were going to be done by Christmas. He needed them by Christmas. Not a specific date. Was not given.
Well, Christmas is a specific date. Every year, it's the same date.
Yes, I understand that. What I'm saying is he didn't say a specific date by Christmas, so I figured he needed them for Christmas, not for a party that was before Christmas.
A party that was before Christmas was 2 days before Christmas, the 23rd. That's not unreasonable. Should have been done, because really that's not what this is about. You acknowledge the fact in all of these emails that I see back and forth, all of these text messages, that you were going to return his money to him because you didn't get him what you promised you would get him on time. But what he had done was he put up a post about you that was unflattering, that he was a dissatisfied customer. I mean, I read the post. That's what he said. He was a dissatisfied customer. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. You stole his money and didn't give him his product. That's pretty much what he said, right?
Yes.
I mean, he didn't accuse you of anything else, of being a thief, of being a robber.
That's what he said. I think it said that on there.
Oh, because of the cookies.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you make these cookies?
No.
And is this your cover page?
Yes.
Well, that's misleading.
But it's just a background.
It's misleading. The connotation is that you made these if it's on your page.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Andre Samuel says cookie business owner Katie Lovell failed to deliver a cookie order. Katie is countersuing for defamation of character, slander, and loss of income.
You took his money, you didn't give him his product, so you stole his money.
But he agreed to take the post down, and he didn't. So that's why I didn't give it to him. And then himself, friends, and family members went onto my page, and I mean, I can show you just horrible things. There's a lie saying that I don't even make my own cookies. I order them from another company, and I'm just the middleman. And
is that true?
I don't even make my own cookies.
Just a second. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all.
Your Honor, you have evidence over there that I also gave you that shows we looked up the cookies that she had on her pictures, and she was using the pictures from the website from another cookie maker.
It was a cover photo from Pinterest. That was a Christmas cookie, like, background.
So what you're suggesting is the photo that she put up on her webpage advertising her cookies were cookies that were made by another company.
You are correct, Your Honor.
And she acknowledges that just now, correct?
Yes.
Well, that's misleading, to say the least.
But it was a background.
I don't care if it was background, foreground. That's what you were putting up to convince people to buy your product. You put a picture of a product that wasn't yours. Did you make these cookies?
Oh, no.
That's the company itself, Your Honor, that actually makes the cookies.
Okay, so
it was just for a cover photo.
Show me.
Okay.
The only one I have are these. This is the company itself, and let me see.
I'm not sure. I just found it on Pinterest.
Oh, let me see your cover page. Is that what you're showing me?
Yeah.
Your cover page. Did you make these cookies?
No.
And is this your cover page?
Yes.
Well, that's misleading.
But it's just a background.
It's misleading.
Okay, I understand.
If I were looking at this, I would say, oh, this lady makes great cookies. Look how beautiful they are. It doesn't say made by someone else, by Mrs. Stahl's Cookies. The connotation is that you made these if it's on your page. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
All right, so let's not argue about it. You have to give him his money back.
But
you have to give him his money back. $110, is that what you paid?
Well, it was just $110 for the cookies. I had to go get other cookies, too.
I don't care about your other cookies, sir.
And
you shouldn't eat cookies.
How about the time, too?
How about what?
How about the time that I had to put in? I had to leave work early. I had to go get
$110. $110. And he is, Miss Lovell, he is allowed to say he is very dissatisfied with your product.
Yes, but he put on there stating that takes your money, doesn't make any cookies.
Your Honor, I have to disagree with the amount just because...
I don't care what you want. That's what you're getting back, $110. I'm not paying you for your time.
The thing is that our annual party means so much to us.
Listen to me. Don't say anything else. You don't want to annoy me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Oh, I see other people something. Who is this cookie girl? Let's put her out of business. But he didn't say that.
That's his friend saying that.
I don't care what his friends...
There's a comment from him that says she does not make her own cookies.
Well, if I were looking at your Facebook page where you advertise your cookies and I saw cookies that you didn't make, I could say she doesn't make her own cookies. It's not actionable. You have no lawsuit against him. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $110. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He ruined my business, basically.
Buffalo's kind of a small town, so word does get out, and it gets out real quick.
Case number 551 on the calendar in the matter of Felix versus Abril.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties.
You try to hustle them.
I'm trying to make a living, Your Honor.
A car flipper in a fix with a mechanic shop.
You say, I'm not paying my bill, my car's for free. A couple of $1,000s worth of fixing that you want for nothing.
An employee forced out
You didn't work for him very long.
No, I did not.
after the boss forced himself on her.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances.
I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously. Be real careful with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Ben Israel make sexual advances to you?
Yes.
I want you to know something. I'm a truth machine.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Elena Menz is suing her former employer, Bartholomew Ben Israel, for unpaid wages.
Order. All rise. It's case number 20 on the calendar in the matter of Menz versus Ben Israel.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
This Menz, the defendant has a house cleaning service company. And according to your complaint, you were an employee of his for some time.
Yes.
You worked at an hourly wage.
Yes.
At some point, you asked him for a raise.
Yes.
Which he reluctantly gave you.
Not
But
true.
according to both of you, because I've read your answer, one of the things that you said to her was, don't tell any of the other employees because I'm giving you a raise, but I'm not necessarily raising their hourly rate. That be a fair statement of what I read in your answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that
yes,
would be a yes. I'm giving you a raise. Don't tell anybody else.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I'm going to start with you, Mr. Ben Israel. First of all, you have a counterclaim.
Yeah.
Because she says you owe her wages, that you fired her. And when you fired her, there was an outstanding bill that you had for her hourly wage. What your service does, if I'm not mistaken, is you have clients.
Yep.
And your clients hire your company to provide people to clean their homes.
Correct.
Let's say you charge your clients $25 an hour.
Right.
You pay your employees $15 an hour. You make $10 an hour.
Right.
Your counterclaim is twofold in her request for her last paycheck. One, you say she has some of your cleaning equipment.
Correct.
Now, I'm not an idiot and this is not show and tell. I assume that's his cleaning stuff.
That is.
Officer Byrd, would you, before you get to 6 across, would you take this and send it over
It's
to the
also the
defendant?
uniform.
Just a second. Sending it. Thank you. I thought that was funny, Bert.
It was hilarious. It was 6 down.
Now you have Mr. Ben Israel. That's what she has that belongs to you. The second part of your complaint is that you... Just a second. The second part of your complaint is that you lost a customer. And the customer that you lost was a customer that Miss Menz had been working for. And she canceled her service with you after you fired Miss Menz. So another part of your counterclaim is for slander and loss of business.
Yeah.
Do you have that person with you? The answer is yes or no.
Do I have what person?
The person who fired you.
No, I do not.
Well, so that you have no cause of action for slander.
I have an email associated with her.
Firing you?
Yeah, the client not wanting to hire.
I would like, just a second, even though it's hearsay, I'm going to read it and see whether I think there's anything slanderous, like you have a sexually transmitted disease, or you are a pedophile or something, or whether she's just saying he's a dishonest businessman who didn't pay me my last week's salary check. Okay.
Now, that's from a client.
You mean the email part where she says that the plaintiff said that you were refusing to pay her overtime so she's no longer working for Pure Clean? Is that the email
Yes.
that you... Just a second. I want to be clear.
Yes.
This is what you say is slander.
Well, her conversation with that client about a statement that was not true is essentially why we got fired. So she
Just
told...
a second. What does essentially not true mean?
Okay, it's not true.
What's not true?
The statement of her not getting paid overtime, by the state of Minnesota, she wasn't even entitled to overtime.
Just a second. That's not slander. So your counterclaim's now dismissed.
But she...
Listen to my words. This didn't say we're firing your firm, Mr. Ben Israel, because the person who's operating the firm is a pedophile. He's a thief. He employs underage children. Didn't say any of those things that are illegal or anything gross, right? She said she had a salary dispute with you because you were refusing to pay her overtime. And the question about whether she was entitled to overtime is a question of fact. So she's allowed to say to the people that she was working for, I got fired because I asked for overtime and he refused to pay me overtime and therefore he fired me. She's allowed to say that. So what I'm telling you is you have no case against her.
Okay.
Period. Now I'm moving forward, Mr. Ben Israel.
It wasn't, according to the state of Minnesota.
I don't care whether
I told
it's
her
according
that she knew
to the Gospel of St. Paul. It doesn't matter. It's not slander. Do you get it?
No, I don't. Can you
well,
please
then
give me
go to law school. I'm telling you, it's not slander. Now, let's get to whether or not you owe her any money. How long did you work for him?
I worked for him about right after Christmas. I got hired.
Christmas of 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't work for him very long?
No, I did not.
Okay. The period of time for which you claim you were not paid is from when to when?
Okay, so 3/12/18 to 3/16.
3/12 through
my last day of 4/19. So he was short just on multiple pay periods. So I didn't get paid for the very last check at all.
All I want to know is when you didn't get paid at all. Okay. I'm not interested in short. So do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not interested in short because you didn't.
I'm sorry.
Because you did in fact go back to work, even though you were short $12, $8, $16. I'm not adding up those numbers. I want to know when he didn't pay you, from when to when.
Okay, it's 4/9 all the way to 4/19.
And you were paid by check?
Yes, personal check.
Personal check?
Yes.
Why do you pay with a personal check if you're a company, Mr. Ben Israel?
She get paid with a company check.
Well, let me see a copy of the check.
I don't have my checkbook with me.
I have copies of checks.
Just a second. Why wouldn't you bring that?
Why would I not bring my
Why wouldn't
checkbook?
you? Yeah, if you're coming here today and the dispute is over salary, why wouldn't you bring your checkbook?
Because I had no intent to write a check, but it's her burden. She's supposed to prove that I didn't write a check.
This is evidence. We're not talking about burden. I wasn't asking you to write a check. I was asking you to show me that you paid her from 4/9 to 4/19.
So.
Not so. I want you to show me that you paid her. That would require your check. She can't show me.
She's supposed to be disputing overtime.
No, I'm not talking about overtime.
That's her claim.
No. Listen to me.
That's her claim.
No, listen to me carefully, sir. She says she worked from 4/9 to 4/19.
Yeah.
And she wasn't paid. I haven't discussed the hourly yet. She can't show me what she doesn't have. You can show me that she was paid from 4/9 to 4/19. And that would require you showing me your checkbook or a copy of a canceled check. Do you understand?
This is her copy of her timesheet.
All right, now then let's go to her timesheet.
There you go.
Did she work on 4/9?
Yes, she did.
Did she work on 4/10?
Yep.
4/11?
Yes.
When was the next day she worked?
The 12th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 13th.
And when was the next day she worked?
The 16th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 17th.
When was the next day she worked?
The 18th.
Did she work on the 19th?
Yes.
Okay, she did not work thereafter. Thereafter,
No.
you let her go. Fine. Now, you can show me proof. We're not getting to the amount. Show me proof that you paid her from 4/9 to 4/19. She can't show me what she doesn't have. If you didn't pay her, she can't show me a copy of a check.
Right.
You can show me your checkbook.
So for this pay period, she did not receive her check.
Okay, great. Then.
Because she had a...
just a second. So for this pay period, for all those days, she did not receive her check. And what did you agree to pay her? Just listen to me. When you gave her a raise, what did you agree to pay her? How much an hour?
14.
Is that...
That is correct. And
that's all I want to know.
Yes.
$14 per hour. How many hours did you work between 4/9 and 4/19? Just what I love, a case that ultimately involves math.
73.45.
74 hours times
So part of those hours were deep
equals $1,036.
So with deep cleans, we get $15 an hour. So part of those hours are at $15 an hour.
That's not true.
Just a second. Take a look at your thing. Your thing must show you how many hours were deep clean.
Yeah, she didn't get any extra pay for deep clean.
Just a second. Show me something, Miss Menz, and I'm getting very bored with this case already. We're at the board line. Show me something in writing that says that you get an extra $1 an hour for deep clean.
So I don't have that.
Just a second. If you say I don't have it, just say I don't have it. I told you I'm getting bored with this already. $1,036 judgment for the plaintiff.
But our text messages
we didn't go over the defamation of character.
Just a second.
Our text messages show that I have it says deep clean today.
Pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you to show me something that says that you get paid extra for deep clean. Do you have it or do you not?
I have statements saying deep clean, but it doesn't say $1 more. But on
just a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's it. The answer is no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Tell me what she said on social media.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances, and I take
different story. Oh, that's a different story. Now we're talking business.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elena Menz says her former employer, Bartholomew Ben Israel, owes for wages as a professional cleaner. Bartholomew is countersuing for equipment, loss of clientele, and slander.
Now, I handled your case for slander. I asked you to show me evidence
you
of
spoke
slander.
specifically about the client, not about social media and her
What did she say?
defaming.
Just a second. Tell me what she said on social media.
She put on social media that I fire women who don't take my sexual advances, and I take her...
different story. Oh, that's a different story. Now we're talking business. Can I see what she wrote to you about on social media? Because if you said that, and if you don't have proof of that, you're going to proof. Just a second. If you have proof, great. Then
I'm a witness
he's going to be stuck. Don't say a word.
I have.
I want to see the sexual.
Post.
That part of the defamation. Hold it. Okay. Now, Miss Menz.
Yes.
I want you to be very careful with me.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for my evidence as well.
What do you mean looking for your evidence? Where did you think you were coming today?
Oh, no, I'm bringing it up on the phone. I'm sorry.
Just a second. All I want to know is, did Mr. Ben... Look at me.
Okay.
Did Mr. Ben Israel make sexual advances to you?
Yes.
When?
We went out on a meeting.
Look, I want you to know something. I'm a truth machine.
Yes. We went to dinner like the first couple weeks I was working there.
Just a second. You went to dinner.
With another employee. We were celebrating.
Just a second. Be real careful with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Within the first couple of weeks you were working there, you went to dinner with the defendant, with another employee. Another female.
Yes.
Female employees. So the three of you went out for dinner.
Yes.
We all were invited, Your Honor.
Now you can put her out.
That's my witness.
It's your witness when you call her. Right now, she is an annoyance to me because she shouts out. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, you and one other female employee went out for dinner.
Yes. Before she worked there. And so we had dinner, and he was having a few drinks.
Make sure you tell me the truth, because then I'm going to question you about why you stayed.
Okay.
So keep going.
So we were having dinner. He had a few drinks, and like he was just kind of, uncomfortably touching me, and I thought it was just because he was drinking, rushing.
You mean like this?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, like he was getting happy.
Just a second. And
he was just
and
he was feeling good from drinking.
Just a second. And
that's it.
Well, so then he never sexually harassed you. I don't care how you felt. Do you understand?
Yes,
because however you felt at that moment, you continued to work for him, and I guarantee you that you had a drink too at dinner.
Actually, I did not. I had a pop.
Yeah. Okay.
Judy continues in a moment.
I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously. So I resent because it diminishes
he sent pictures
real
too.
sexual harassment when you have somebody that's got another agenda like you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elena Menz has accused former employer Bartholomew Ben Israel of withholding her wages as a professional cleaner. Bartholomew has a countersuit claiming Elena falsely accused him of sexual harassment.
Now, I take allegations of sexual harassment seriously.
Yes.
And I think anyone who has been a victim of sexual harassment in the workplace deserves to be compensated.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully.
I understand.
So I resent because it diminishes
he sent pictures
real
too.
sexual harassment. When you have somebody that's got another agenda like you.
I don't have another agenda.
Just
He
a
sent
second.
me pictures.
Just a second. I said, were you ever sexually harassed by him? That's
At that
the story
time, no.
you told me.
And then,
For
so
that,
I'm moving on to the
then
further.
tell me.
Okay,
Then
so
tell me the
when
next.
I was working with...
I don't want to hear you. You complained about something.
Okay.
Listen to me. You complained about something unless you want to withdraw your counterclaim.
Okay.
Look at me. Unless you want to withdraw your counterclaim, I'm going to hear whatever other evidence she has.
Perfect.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, I want you to tell me what other things he did to you to sexual harass you.
So he sent... I don't have it because I erased it.
Well, don't tell me what you don't have.
Okay.
Don't tell me what you don't have. Tell me what you have.
I have inappropriate pictures that he sent.
That he sent to you?
Yes.
I'd like to see them. Don't say anything. Why is this an inappropriate picture?
I mean, why would you send a shirtless picture to an employee?
I mean, I just want to know why it's an inappropriate picture, because maybe he's a schmuck. I don't
guess,
understand.
I mean, to me, it was inappropriate.
Maybe. But this isn't an inappropriate picture. It's a picture of him.
Those were taken off my Instagram, my Facebook page. And
just a second. Is this on your...
I help people lose weight.
Just a second. I don't think that this is an inappropriate picture. I would think that it's listen to me. I would think that it's inappropriate behavior and stupid to send this to an employee.
I agree.
As I would agree that this is inappropriate and stupid to send to an employee. If what you are telling me, Mr. Ben Israel, is that this came off of your Facebook page and she says that you sent it to her.
No, you
Just a second. If she's telling me that this was sent to her and you can establish to me that she took this off your Facebook page, I'm granting your request because I see she's got no other evidence there.
I'm not even on his Facebook page.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
Just a second. Show me how he sent it to you. Because now we're in checkmate. Now we're in Now we're in checkmate.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You show me where he sent these pictures to you, because you would agree, Mr. Ben Israel, that this would be inappropriate to send to an employee.
I would, yeah.
So it's saved into my photo drive? Because your photos automatically saved because I erased those pictures.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Okay.
You know what, Miss Menz, that's going to cost you? $1,036. That's what that's going to cost you.
Okay.
Posting that thing, accusing him of sexual harassment, and then lying to me.
I'm not lying, but
telling me,
I'm
well,
not
now
lying.
he's going to show me where it's on his Facebook page. Bird, may I get that, please?
I think you guys got bad Wi-Fi here.
We don't have anything bad here.
I'm just waiting for it to load, but these are screenshots that she sent to herself, and then she showed it to her a friend, which was an employee that worked for us, and she sent it to me to show what she was posting. So she went to my page, took the pictures off, and then sent it to herself as if I'm sending her messages.
You mean setting up this case? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she did. That's exactly what she did. It's going to cost her $1,036.
Thank you.
You don't have to pay her anything. What she said was outrageous. It's going to cost her her money, and she owes you an apology.
Yeah. Thank you.
Got it? We're done.
Parties are excused. May step out.
Excuse me, Your Honor. So is there a counterclaim?
Yes, I'm giving you $1,036.
Okay, but not the $5,000.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the
right there, I would say,
I have a total of 8 dogs on the yard.
Serving a subpoena had its risks.
You were bitten on the leg?
Yes, ma'am. Left calf.
Were guard dogs just doing their job too?
Did you hear dogs barking before you were bitten?
It was another dog that didn't growl, that didn't bark.
Just bit.
Right.
I would never have walked into that.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinlin. This is Judge Judy.
Chief Warrant Officer Stephen McCullen is suing Anthony Beverly for damages due to a dog bite while attempting to serve Anthony with a subpoena.
Order. All rise. It's case number 244 on the calendar, the matter of McCullen versus Beverly.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Party's been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. McCullough, you are self-employed?
No, ma'am. I work for Mobile County Investigation and Recovery Child Support Enforcement.
Okay. You were attempting to serve a subpoena on Mr. Beverly for what?
Child support subpoena for him to come to court.
Where are your children?
With their mother.
Where?
Mobile, Alabama.
Where do you live?
Oh, Mobile, I'm sorry.
So you both live in the same city?
Yes, ma'am.
How far behind are you in child support?
I'm not behind at all. He was serving me at child support, but she dropped the case.
Are you paying child support for those children?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
A total of $1,500.
How often?
Every month.
And was she requesting more money? Is that what she was requesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Had you been having an argument with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, did you know this subpoena was coming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. McCullum.
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did you serve the subpoena?
On June the 7th.
And you were bitten by Mr. Beverly's dog?
Correct.
That's what we're here for?
Correct.
When you were serving the subpoena, sir, he lives in a private home.
Yes.
Is it gated?
Partially.
When you say partially, what do you mean?
There are areas of his residence that the gate is broken.
My question, Mr. McCullough, when you went to his residence, did you go through a gate?
No.
He lied.
How did you get there, to his residence, inside?
To his driveway, which was not gated.
And I have proof I have a gate.
But I'd like to see, I'm sure you have photographs of where you were bitten.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, not on your body, but
yes,
physically. So you entered through the driveway, went to the residence to go up to the front of the house through the driveway.
Correct.
And there was no gate there?
No.
Are there any signs there?
I didn't see any signs due to the fact of all the trees.
You didn't see any signs?
No.
The sign has signs up to me.
When you went to serve the subpoena, did you hear dogs barking before you were bitten?
Yes, I did.
How much before you were bitten?
Before I get out of my vehicle, I noticed 2 dogs to the right of his car. Those are the 2 dogs.
On the driveway?
On the driveway. Those were 2 dogs that were barking.
You saw them and they were unleashed? They were not...
They were on long chains, but they were wrapped around a fence pole where the fence was broken down at. They were so badly wrapped around that pole they couldn't move, so they couldn't bother me.
I have pictures of that.
Just a second. What kind of dogs were they?
They were pit bulls.
Well, then I would make very sure that they couldn't reach you.
Correct.
Not pit bulls either.
Evidently, you misjudged or you got too close to them. How did that happen?
Those dogs didn't bite me. It was another dog that he had in the yard that bit me.
That you didn't see?
That I didn't see. That didn't growl, that didn't bark.
Just bit?
Right.
So the 2 dogs that were on a chain didn't touch you?
No.
It was one that was not on a chain that touched you?
No, ma'am. He was on the chain. The chain was 10 feet long.
Was it attached to the same pole?
No, ma'am.
To a different pole?
I don't know where it was attached to.
But it was a chain?
It was a chain.
And when you went into the yard, you didn't have to go through any gate?
No.
You were bitten on the leg?
Yes, ma'am. Left calf.
I'd like to see photographs and whatever medical record you have.
Would you like to see the evidence of the gate of the house also?
Well, looks to me as if you were pretty lucky.
Yes, ma'am.
Very lucky.
Yes, ma'am.
You got away with a scratch.
I wouldn't call it a scratch.
Well,
Scratch.
did you have to... Oh, I see. I see where one of the dogs was.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. McCullough, I would have waited until he went out to the store or something to serve him with the subpoena. I would never have walked into that premises.
Normally, Judge Judy, normally when I go to a house, this ain't the first time I've been to a house with dogs. Normally in my job, if we see there'll be a beware dog sign on the fence, we know not to go inside that fence. We'll put a card in the mailbox. But as I come to that particular house and go up to that particular yard, there was no signs.
If I saw 2 pit bulls chained, if I saw 2 pit bulls chained in a front yard, I would say, I'm going to wait till he goes to the movies. or something. Do you work, Mr. Beverly?
Yes, ma'am. I work for commercial driver for Phoenix Transportation.
And you've been working with them for how long?
3 years.
So, Mr. McCullough.
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you serve him at his place of business?
No, I never knew where he worked. Even the transfer paper didn't indicate that he worked anywhere.
He works. Do you have a medical report?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I'm going to come to you, Mr. Beverly. What kind of dogs do you have?
English Bulldogs, ma'am.
I'd like to see a picture of your English Bulldog.
This is the one that he said was wrapped
No, I
around.
want to see all these dogs.
Want to see all of them?
Yeah, I want to see all your dogs.
That's just the ones I have pictures of in the front yard. There was 5 dogs in the front yard. I have a total of 8 dogs on that yard.
Why are they all chained up in your yard?
Because where I stayed is there's a lot of crackheads. They used to break in my house and while I'm at work and stuff. So when I started getting dogs to keep people out my yard, I started selling them too. But I haven't had a problem since I had the dogs in the front of my yard.
I would say not. I would say not, Mr. Beverly. Aren't you afraid of the dogs?
No, I have 9 kids and they come and go as they please through there. Now, I feed the dogs, and they just did what they were supposed to do. That's why I feed them, so they can protect my yard and keep people out. If you saw the dogs on the side of the house, and if you look at this other picture right here, it's a dog house right there.
Do you want to break into his house?
But the city ordinance says that those pit bulls have to be penned. He received a citation for that.
I'd like to see it.
And there's the...
Did you pay the fine, sir? $150?
Oh, ma'am, I just received that. But I had no idea that you had to have your dog in a corrugated pen.
Well, no, he got a ticket. He hasn't either paid it or been held responsible for it.
We went to court on the 17th of October.
Oh, so
that's when he found guilty.
Were you found guilty?
Yes, ma'am, but it was not because he got bit or his negligence of walking in the yard. The fine was because my dog wasn't confined in a four-wall pen.
In the backyard, the dog ran over.
I called the police on her, and I was the one who was arrested.
The big order?
Yeah.
Want for nothing.
But looking for a discount backfired.
I was arguing with Jeff, and that's when Ed comes out with a pipe and says, "Leave my dad alone." Next thing you know, I'm on the ground.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lawrence Pearl is suing auto shop owner Jeff Bloom and his son Ed for damaging his car and for an assault.
Order. All rise. It's case number 305 on the calendar, the matter of Pearl versus Bloom.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Pearl, you brought your car into the defendant's shop, a car that you intended to flip for mechanical work on the car, perhaps some body work on the car, I don't know. But it was your intention to make money. That's what you do, to make money. And when it was time to pick up your car, there was some sort of a kerfuffle at the shop. You allege that the defendant and his son assaulted you. You want to be compensated for that assault. And you also say that there was some damage to your car during the course of this kerfuffle that you want them to be responsible for. The defendants say that actually you started the kerfuffle at the shop when you came to pick up the car. They are suing you for an unpaid bill for the car because you didn't pay to have it fixed, for storing the car for an extensive period of time, and for an assault, although neither one of you were injured. Is that correct?
Right.
Good. All right. So, Mr. Pearl, how long have you been in this business of flipping cars?
Since probably 2000. 18 years.
And how many times have you used the defendant's firm to fix up cars?
About 5.
That's 5 cars excluding this one or including this one?
Probably including this one.
So 4 other cars?
Maybe 5.
Let's say 5 others.
Yes.
Now, I assume that since you look like a relatively intelligent man, you would not have returned 6 times unless you were satisfied the first 5 times.
Well,
that's not a well. If you say, no, I wasn't satisfied, then I'll go further.
No, I wasn't satisfied.
Then my next question to you is, if you weren't satisfied the first 3 times, why did you go back again?
I was dealing with their mechanic who had had his own shop up until May. And then at that time or sometime before then, he stayed at the shop for about a month and a half. All my dealings were with Lyle, that's the owner, the mechanic.
No. They're the owners.
Of the shop, correct.
Where he was working.
Correct.
And you understood that he worked for them, even though previously he may have had his own shop, and you dealt with him independently.
Correct. And
correct. Just
can
a second.
Say something about that?
No. I'm getting it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Lyle no longer had his shop. He went to their shop.
Correct.
Now, when did you bring the subject car into the defendant's shop?
I originally gave it to Lyle after I purchased it in March.
Just a second.
Under the contract. Go ahead.
Joan?
Sorry.
Is what you're telling me that when you brought this car, what kind of car was it?
98 C-Class Mercedes.
When you brought this old Mercedes in to be fixed, to be flipped, did you bring it to Lyle's old shop, or did you bring it to the defendant's shop where Lyle was working?
I brought it to
That's very easy.
Lyle's old shop originally.
You brought it to Lyle's old shop in March.
Probably February, yeah. When I bought it.
Just a second. You know, now I'm not believing you. Do you know what I mean? You're getting uncomfortable with my questions.
Yes, ma'am.
You're getting uncomfortable. So let's go back. When you brought the old Mercedes in to be fixed for the purpose of flipping, did you bring it to Lyle's old shop where you had dealt with him previously, or did you bring it to the premises owned by the defendant where Lyle was now working?
I brought it originally to his shop, and then he brought it to their shop.
So is what you're telling me Lyle still had his shop in February or March?
Correct.
Okay.
His location.
So, what?
His location.
You know, I'm not believing you. Do you know I'm not believing you? Because you're getting what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
You're smart enough to get what I'm saying, but it's not going to help you.
Okay.
So if what you're telling me is that you brought it to a point in a parking lot that used to be Lyle's old shop and gave it to him, but the car was being taken to the defendant's shop, don't play cutesy with me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, take your hands out of your pockets, Mr. Bloom, and just tell me, do you have a printout of what work was done on his Mercedes in the 4 months that it was there at your shop? As a result of being slammed or hit or whatever it was, just give me my car back. Is that what you said to him?
That's what I said.
Great, and you got your car back.
The Mercedes, yes.
Yes, your case is dismissed. So your counterclaim, we're done. Thank you.
What?
We've done work on it.
Because they were going to pay for my Beamer to be fixed?
Insisting on it's your way or the highway.
Committed fraud.
This is just